is we need to access our router. First, to disable its dynamic host configuration protocol, the DHCP. So first is you need to know what is or how to access your router. You can also do that via CMD. So on your keyboard, just do Windows plus R or the Windows logo keys on your keyboard and hold that one and then go with R or type the R key and search the CMD or command prompt. After that one is you need to do is ipconfig and it will show you your default gateway. So that's basically the default IP address of our router. Right after you know the default gateway or the way to access your router, go to the browser, and then right after you go to your browser, type the default gateway, which my default gateway is ipconfig. So my default gateway is 192.168.0.1, which is the IP address of my router. So access that one and then find the dynamic host configuration protocol, the DHCP. So this is my DHCP. So what is the purpose of a DHCP? The DHCP will be the one to set the range of user can access that network or can join that domain. So right after that one, via DHCP, the IP address of the client or the desktop will get from the DHCP or the DHCP server. So I need to disable this one because later part will have to install DHCP via the server manager. So I'm done with disabling the DHCP of my router. So I need to close the browser and then I need to play safe. So I need to find the services and right after find the SSDP. This one is the SSDP discovery. So you need to put it as the startup type into automatic because later part, and also the UPnP host, because later part the network discovery, once you turn it on, you can find this portion, the network internet. Once you turn it on, if you forget to process the services, then the tendency is once you save it and change, go back, is it will not save up. So that's the thing that you need to secure first. So in this network discovery is we need to on the private and guest public at the same time the all networks, so that once we are done with creating the setup of server, so later part the setup for or joining of the client to the domain will not be as much as possible as problem. So after those things, the network discovery and disabling of the DHCP of the router is you need to assign IP address. So to do that one is you need to, the same situation, Windows key K plus R on your keyboard, the Windows logo plus R, and type the ncpa.cpl. Okay, so it will show up you the network or the internet of your desktop. So open that one by double click on your mouse and one click on the properties and double click on the internet protocol version 4, because the IP version 4 is the one that we have to assign. And you can also indicate the IP address, but for me I'll have to use the class C, 192.168.100.10. So once I tap the tab case on my keyboard, the subnet mask will show us class C via the subnet mask via 255.255.255. So it must be 3255 in this portion. So as you can see, the 255 is 3. That means that is a class C. But in case that I want to experiment and I want class A, for example 10. So once I delete this one and go as tab on my on the keyboard, so it will show up class A. So that's the indicator of classification of IP address via this first number of your IP address, under the 4 numbers. So you can verify it by the first number of your IP address. So that's the indicator of classification of your IP address. So I need to go back as 192. So I just tab. Then I need to 192.168.100.1 for the default gateway, or you can also follow your IP address of your router, but I need to be different, so I need to indicate also that one as 100.1. And also for the preferred DNS server, I just need to copy the 3 numbers of my IP address, and not the 3, I mean the IP address. I need to copy the IP address of my server, and then okay and close. So with that, we are done with assigning of IP address. So the next step is we need to add a AD DS. So first is you need to go to the server manager. This one is the server manager. This is the server manager. This is different with 2008 server manager, and the different with server manager of the 2008 and 2012 is basically the user interface or something, the dashboard. That's the different. So first is we need to find the add roles. So to add the ADDS, need to find the add roles and features, and right after that one there will be an dashboard for the roles and features wizard. So to proceed is just next, and select the role based or feature based installation, and next, and just select which server pool that you want to configure. So this is the only in the server pool, so just select the next. And my next step is to find the ADDS or the Active Directory Domain Services. So I need to select the Active Directory Domain Services and add a feature. So it is shown as selected, and proceed to next. So we don't need to configure in this area, so just next. And this just for ADDS, so just next. And you can also click the restart once, or just next and install, and later part it will restart. So I'll just put it as check. So yes, and install, or you just don't need to check that restart automatically after the installation, or just install. So after that one, you need to proceed to install and wait for the feature in this portion, the feature installation. Just wait to proceed. So we just have to wait. And after the configuration required installation success on the server desktop, so once I close this one, on the later part, you need to proceed to the notification tab and find the promote this server to a domain controller, so that is the time that we can add a domain. For example, my domain is like tesda.com. So my domain is the tesda, and you need to proceed to next. And the next step is you just wait for the loading screen on the top section of the domain lower part of the domain controller option word. So you can now add a password for your domain. So for my password, I just put this one, and for the confirmation password. So you call this one for play safe, I just go to my search bar and type the password, and Control A, Control C, and close, and I just need to paste for what do you call this one, play safe on setting up our domain password. And next, so just next in this portion. And so NetBIOS domain name will show our domain, which is the tesda. It should be tesda in this portion. Tesda, so it's correct, it is tesda. And we need to proceed as next. So nothing to configure in this option. Okay, so in this portion, all you need to do is just next on the path the paths, just next and next in this portion. So just have to wait because the verifying prerequisite for domain controller operations, so that's the process. So just wait, and you can also check that the loading screen is on the upper bar of these options, and you can also see that all prerequisite check passed successfully. So click install to begin the installation. So it's already starting based on the progress. So I just have to wait. So just patience is the key. So okay. So waiting for the DNS. So this is the process of installation of domain under the 2012 R2. Okay, setting up, progress, configuring the DNS. So right after, there will be a prompt message that you are about to sign out. So once you close this one, later part it will restart directly. So it's restarting after the installation of the DNS. So now after the restart of our computer, because I mean the desktop server, after the installation of our DNS, once you go as logging on this desktop server, then your domain will show up as server, I mean the domain slash administrator. So once we control alt delete on our keyboard, as you can see, that's our domain, which is testda.com, which supposedly as a result as into testda/administrator, and set your password or login on your password. So that's the first step for installation. Okay, so we are So right now we are done with the adding of AD DS and DNS on our desktop server. So we need to go back to our server manager, open the server manager, and on the lower option of the dashboard, it should show up as the AD DS and your DNS. So that's the thing that you need to install first before go to the other. So next is we need to add our own DHCP, because in the first part or the previous steps is we disable the DHCP server on our router. So we need to add roles and features and proceed to next, and role base, the same setup, same process. Just select which server name or under the server pool you have to select, and I need just the same. So next in this process, and add the DHCP, find the DHCP, and add features, and also the print and document services, and next and next. So nothing to add on the feature base. Next and next and next, and we can now proceed to installing of the print and document services, and next and install. So the same process, just wait for the installation progress on our server desktop under the domain of testda.com. So just have to wait on the installation progress. Just have to wait. So we are done with installing. So the configuration required installation succeeded on the server desktop, which is the domain of testa.com, and go to your notification tab on the upper right corner and find the complete DHCP configuration and proceed to next and commit. So we're done on committing it, and close and go to the tools tab and find the DHCP. So this is my DHCP, and expand your DHCP and find the version 4 and right click on the IP version 4 and find the new scope and next, and you can now add your scope. Like for example, that's the scope, and proceed to next and add the IP range. So this is the part where we can put put a range of user that can access the domain or the under that network. So for example, mine is 192.168.100, so I just have to indicate the last option of the IP address, because the last option or the last number of our IP address will indicate the user. So just by that, I can now arrange how many user can access that network or that domain. So 192.168.100, like example, I want that only 5 user or 6 user, so I just have to indicate as 65. That means that 192.168.100.60, that's considered as 1, 61, 62, 63, and 64 and 65. That means that we can add as 6 user can access only on that range of range of user that can access that network or under that domain. So next, and in this option which shows us add exclusion and delay, you can add or not. So just proceed to next, and on the list duration, since this is just for demo purposes, just proceed to next. Just typically proceed to next, and yes, I want to configure the DHCP option. Just next, and now add the default gateway or the router IP address. So since I already configured, so I need to add as 192.168.100.1. So add and proceed to next. So in this portion, you can find your testa.com and your server name and IP address. For example, my IP address is 192.168.100.10, so I need to add. This will validate if it's okay or not. So you can also indicate the server name. My server name is server/desktop, and proceed to next. And in the Win server, you can indicate your domain. It will also directly show on the IP address. For example, mine is testa.com, and once I click the resolve, the IP address of the Testa server desktop will show up. So it shows and add, and next, do you want to active? Yes, we need to active that one and finish. So we are done with adding the DHCP, and next step is we need to create a user as well as the OU. So I need to minimize first my server desktop, or just proceed directly to the user and computers, the Active Directory users and computers. Click and expand the desktop, your domain, and right click on the domain and then new and find the OU. So we need to organize this one, so I need to do as test the OU and okay. And under the OU, so I want us organize when making a user, so I need to organize. So my user should under the test the OU, so I need to right click, the same process, new user, and sample my name, and just indicate my name since these are demo purposes, and add the password. So server AD1. And under the password, on the lower part of it, you can find that user must change. You need to uncheck that one, and only the user cannot change password, and password never expire, and proceed to next. And we are done with adding a user. So that's basically the adding of your user, and at the same time so the next step is we need to add our GPO, or the group policy objectives, or the group policy management. So first is we need to create a folder for our group policy objectives for folder redirection. So you need to create create a folder, and then you can rename, like mine, I need to rename as and then right click properties and go to sharing and share, and find the domain users, indicate the users, so the domain users, and then add done, and advanced sharing, and then check the share this folder and permission, and you can remove everyone so that only the users that is under the domain can only access this folder, and full control, and apply and okay, and apply and okay the same. And you can also copy right away after that, set up the network path so that continuous setuping of the GPO, and close, and go back to your server manager and find the tools and find the group policy management, and expand the forest .com and domains, and you can find the domain, your domain .com, and then since I want it as organized as much as possible, so the GPO will be created under the .ou, since the OU that you create will also reflect to the features under the group policy management. So I need to create, so right click, create a GPO in this domain, and link it here, click that one, and then rename it based on your preferred name. So my preferred name is GPO folder redirection. So okay, and also I need to add printer, GPO printer deployment. Okay, and okay, so we're done with adding the GPO based on my preference. So right click on the group policy objective folder redirection and edit. This one is for the GPO folder redirection configuration. Again, right click, edit, user configuration, find the policies, find the Windows settings, and find the folder redirection. And find, for example, I want to folder redirect the desktop of the user. Then I need to do is find the properties, and the setting is the basic, and right away paste your network path based on the folder you created last time, and settings, and you can also check the last option, which allows the older version of the Windows server, like Windows 2000 server, Windows XP, and Windows Server 2003 operating system, and apply and okay. So we are done with creating the GPO of folder redirection, and right away you need to create or add a printer. So find your start and find the search option and find the device or printer. Find the printer, device printer, and add a printer, and printer that I want is not listed, and find the add a local or network printer and with manual settings, and next, and for example this is for proxy, so you need to find which printer you want to add, and for example this one, and I need to rename at server printer, server printer, and add, and next, and finish. So we are done with adding our printer. So next step is we need to create or to add it to our print management. So find print management, just print management, and find the all printers and find your printer or added printer. So you need to right click and deploy with group policy and browse and find the GPO that where you put on a location. So my GPO is under the OU, so this one I need to open and find the GPO, which is my printer deployment, and double check the user and the computers, check that one and add, so you can find and apply and okay. So we are done with adding the GPO and the setup also for the server, but the RDS or the remote desktop services will be on a different video to add. So my next step is I need to join this client into a domain. So first is we need to go as Windows R ncpa.cpl and disable and enable this one. Right after that one, it should show your domain under the Ethernet. So mine is tesla.com, so it should it's shown here that this desktop client is already discovered that's the domain, which is my tesla.com. So right after that one, we can now join the domain. If not shown the tesla.com, that it cannot join a domain. So that's basically the steps. So Windows E and let this client join a domain. Right click this PC, right click on the blank space and find the properties and change setting and find the change and add the domain. That's the .com, that's my domain. So we're done with the client joining the domain. So server a daemon 1. So right after, it will welcome us to the domain and okay. So once you close this one, it will ask for restart. So that's basically the client joining the domain. So after joining the domain and then the user that you created log on, go back to your server and find the jam and the redirected folder So once you create something in this area, it should directly show up to our client. So example, I need to spam this one, spam the folder. So on the client, it should show up directly, just like a real-time desktop sharing. So basically, that's the folder redirection. Since it is created under a folder, but it shows directly to a desktop location for the path. And then on the search bar, find the printer and printer scanner, and your added printer under a GPU. So you're done with setting up the server 2012 R2 with a GPO of folder redirection and folder redirection and printer deployment. With regard to the RDS, that's a different steps or for the different video. So that's all. Thank you.